The Nintendo Switch's ability to moonlight as both a portable and a traditional game console is great, but the nature of its detachable Joy-Con controllers leave it with one glaring flaw. It doesn't have a very good D-pad. But if you have a 3D printer, you can fix that. Sort of. If you've ever tried to play a fighting game or a platformer on the Nintendo Switch, you've probably found yourself a little frustrated with the console's left Joy-Con controller. Instead of having a traditional directional pad, it has 4 individual buttons. This makes both Joy-Cons kind of symmetrical, and it's a necessary sacrifice that allows the controllers to be split up for multiplayer gaming. But these buttons are objectively worse for some kinds of games. Luckily, it's a flaw that can be fixed. This is the Nintendo Switch D-pad mod, a free 3D printable accessory design made by Thingiverse user Emperor Phase. It's a simple control overlay patterned after the original NES's gamepad design, a simple cross that smoothly pivots over 4 button toggles by rolling over a small sphere. It's designed to fit over the Switch left Joy-Con's controller buttons to emulate the feel of a traditional game controller. And while that sounds almost too simple, it actually works pretty well. The homemade accessory needs a little bit of double-sided sticky tape or mounting putty to keep it attached to the Switch, but once it's on, it lets you roll across the directional inputs almost as smoothly as a real D-pad. It makes it easier to perform combo moves and Hadoukens in Street Fighter, and offers tighter platforming controls in games like Shovel Knight and Blaster Master Zero. It's an extremely simple mod that lends the Joy-Con controllers a more traditional feel, and it can be had for less than $1 with anyone with access to a 3D printer. If you don't have access to your own 3D printer, you can make your own by visiting a UPS store or a Staples, but don't rush out and do it just yet. Although the D-pad works extremely well, it might not actually be safe to use. After about a week of using this DIY D-pad, my Switch Joy-Con started to show signs of wear. Small marks next to the buttons where the plastic made contact with the controller, and a clear circle in the center of the 4 buttons where the D-pad pivots on its ball. These blemishes are minor, but the homemade accessory is clearly leaving behind some friction burns. This DIY D-pad is a neat solution for gamers that want a more precise control pad for the Switch, despite its risks. But for gamers that want to keep their system pristine, they might want to opt for the official Nintendo Switch Pro controller or a third-party solution like the 8BitO NES 30. But if you have a 3D printer and don't mind giving your console a few scuffs and a little bit of character, this homemade solution is surprisingly satisfying.